Just reading some poems from a collection of poetry sent to me by my high school senior English teacher as I was sitting at my classroom in my first year teaching, which was about 23 years ago. From Thomas Hardy, Are you digging on my grave? Are you digging on my grave, my loved one? Planting rue? No. Yesterday he went to wed one of the brightest wealth was bred. It cannot hurt her now, he said. That I should not be true. Then who is digging on my grave, my dearest kin? Ah, no, they sit and think. What use? What good will planting flowers produce? No tenants of her mound can loose her spirit from death's skin. But someone digs upon my grave, my enemy, prodding sly? Nay, when she heard you had passed the gate that shuts on all flesh soon or late, she thought you no more worth her hate, and cares not where you lie. Then who is digging on my grave? Say, since I have not guessed. Oh, it is I, my mistress dear, your little dog, who still lives near, and much I hope my movements here have not disturbed your rest. Ah, yes, you dig upon my grave. Why flashed it not on me that one true heart was left behind? What feeling do we ever find to equal among humankind a dog's fidelity? Mistress, I dug upon your grave to bury a bone in case I should be hungry near this spot when passing on my daily trot. I am sorry, but I've quite forgot it was your resting place. Okay. Also by Thomas Hardy, The Convergence of the Twain, Lines on the Loss of the Titanic. In the solitude of the sea, deep from human vanity, and the pride of life that planned her, stilly couches she. Steel chambers, late the pyres of her salamandrine fires, cold currents thrid, and turn to rhythmic tidal lyres. Over the mirrors meant to glass the opulent, the sea worm crawls, grotesque, slimed, dumb, indifferent. Jewels in joy designed to ravish the sensuous mind lie lightless, all their sparkles bleared and black and blind. Dim moon-eyed fishes near gaze at the gilded gear and query, what is this vaingloriousness down here? Well, while was fashioning this creature of cleaving wing, the imminent will that stirs and urges everything prepared a sinister mate for her, so gaily great, a shape of ice for the time far and dissociate. And as the smart ship grew in stature, grace in hue, and shadowy silent distance grew the iceberg too. Alien they seemed to be, no mortal eye could see the intimate welding of their later history, or a sign that they were bent by paths coincident on being anon twin halves of one august event, till the spinner of the years said, now! And each one hears, and consummation comes, and jars two hemispheres. Okay. By William Butler Yates, Sailing to Byzantium. That is no country for old men. The young in one another's arms, birds in the trees, those dying generations at their song, the salmon falls, the mackerel crowded seas, fish, flesh, or fowl will commend all summer long, whatever is begotten, born, and dies. Caught in that sensual music, all neglect monuments of unaging intellect. An aged man is but a paltry thing, a tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul clap its hand and sing, and louder sing for every tatter in its mortal dress. Nor is there singing school, but studying monuments of its own magnificence. And therefore I've sailed the seas and come to the holy city of Byzantium. O sages standing in God's holy fires in the gold mosaic of a wall, come from the holy fire, purn in the gyre, and be the singing masters of my soul. Consume my heart away, sick with desire, and fastened to a dying animal, it knows not what it is, and gather me into the artifice of eternity. Once out of nature, I shall never take my bodily form from any natural thing, but such a form as a Grecian goldsmith make of hammered gold and gold enameling to keep a drowsy emperor awake, or set upon a golden bough to sing to the lords and ladies of Byzantium of what is past, or passing, or to come. All right. Turning to Stephen Crane, War is Kind. A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." "However," replied the universe, "the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation." Also by Stephen Crane. Excuse me, no. This by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies, it hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but, oh great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but, oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. All right. Then we have from Robert Frost, Acquainted with the Night. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the furthest city light. I have looked down the saddest city lane. I have passed by the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. I have stood still and stopped the sound of feet when far away an interrupted cry came over houses and from another street, but not to call me back or say goodbye. And further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been one acquainted with the night. Also by Robert Frost, After Apple Picking. My long two-pointed ladder's sticking through a tree toward heaven still, and there's a barrel that I didn't fill beside it. And there may be 2 or 3 apples I didn't pick upon some bough. But I am done with apple picking now. Essence of winter's sleep is on the night, the scent of apples. I am drowsing off. I cannot rub the strangeness from my sight I got from looking through a pane of glass I skimmed this morning from the drinking trough and held against the world of hoary grass. It melted, and I let it fall and break. But I was well upon my way to sleep before it fell, and I could tell what form my dreaming was about to take. Magnified apples appear and disappear, stem end and blossom end, and every fleck of russet showing clear. My instep arch not only keeps the ache, it keeps the pressure of a ladder round. I feel the ladder sway as the boughs bend, and I keep hearing from the cellar bin the rumbling sound of load on load of apples coming in, for I've had too much of apple picking. I am overtired of the great harvests I myself desired. There were 10,000 fruit to touch, cherish in hand, lift down, and not let fall. For all that struck the earth, no matter if not bruised or spiked with stubble, went surely to the cider apple heap, as of no worth. One can see what will trouble this sleep of mine, whatever sleep it is. Were he not gone, the woodchuck could say whether it's like his long sleep, as I describe its coming on, or just some human sleep. Okay. Turning now to Dreamers by Siegfried Sassoon. Soldiers are citizens of death's gray land, drawing no dividend from time's tomorrows. In the great hour of destiny they stand, each with his feuds and jealousies and sorrows. Soldiers are sworn to action. They must win some flaming, fatal climax with their lives. Soldiers are dreamers. When the guns begin, they think of firelit homes, clean beds, and wives. I see them in foul dugouts, gnawed by rats, and in the ruined trenches lashed with rain. dreaming of things they did with balls and bats, and mocked by hopeless longing to regain bank holidays and picture shows and spats, and going to the office in the train. Okay. The Purse-Seine by Robinson Jeffers. And that's a fancy name for a circular fishing net, and the bottom is closed before it is hauled in. Our sardine fishermen work at night in the dark of the moon. Daylight or moonlight, they could not tell where to spread the net, unable to see the phosphorescence of the shoals of fish. They work northward from Monterey, coasting Santa Cruz, off New Year's Point or off Pigeon Point. The lookout man will see some lakes of milk-color light on the sea's night purple. He points, and the helmsman turns the dark prow, the motorboat circles the gleaming shoal, and drifts out her sling net. They close the circle and purse the bottom of the net, then with great labor haul it in. I cannot tell you how beautiful the scene is, and a little terrible then, when the crowded fish know they are caught, and wildly beat from one wall to the other of their closing destiny the phosphorescent water to pool of flame, each beautiful slender body sheeted with flame like a live rocket, a comet's tail wake of clear yellow flame. While outside the narrowing floats and cordage of the net, great sea lions come to watch, sighing in the dark. The vast walls of night stand erect to the stars. Lately, I was looking from a night mountaintop on a wide city, the colored splendor, galaxies of light. How could I help but recall the seen nets gathering the luminous fish? I cannot tell you how beautiful the city appeared, and a little terrible. I thought, we have geared the machines and locked all together into interdependence. We have built the great cities. Now there's no escape. We have gathered vast populations incapable of free survival. Insulated from the strong earth, each person in himself helpless, on all dependent. The circle is closed. The net is being hauled in. They hardly feel the cords drawing, yet they shine already. The inevitable mass disasters will not come in our time nor in our children's, but we and our children must watch the net draw narrower. Government take all powers, or revolution, and the new government take more than all. Add to kept bodies, kept souls, or anarchy, the mass disasters. These things are progress. Do you marvel our verse is troubled or frowning while it keeps its reason? Or it lets go? Lets the mood flow in the manner of the recent young men into more hysteria, splintered gleams, crackling laughter? But they are quite wrong. There's no reason for amazement. Surely one always knew that cultures decay, and life's end is death. Gonna read a couple by Dorothy Parker. One Perfect Rose. A single flower he sent me since we met. All tenderly his messenger he chose, deep-hearted, pure, with scented dew still wet. One perfect rose. I knew the language of the floweret. My fragile leaves, it said, his heart enclose. Love long has taken for his amulet one perfect rose. Why is it no one sent me yet one perfect limousine, do you suppose? Ah, no. It's always just my luck to get one perfect rose. Also by Dorothy Parker, Resume. Razors pain you, rivers are damp, acids stain you, and drugs cause cramp. Guns aren't lawful, nooses give, gas smells awful. You might as well live. E. Cummings, Nobody Loses All the Time. Forgive me as I try to read this one. E. Cummings is famous for using spacing and punctuation to add meaning to his work. So, I had an uncle named Saul who was a born failure, and nearly everybody said he should have gone into vaudeville, perhaps because my Uncle Saul could sing McCann. He was a driver on Xmas Eve like hell itself. which may or may not account for the fact that my Uncle Saul indulged in that possibly most inexcusable of all to use a highfalutin phrase, luxuries, that is, or to wit, farming, and be it needlessly added, my Uncle Saul's farm failed because the chickens ate the vegetables. So my Uncle Saul had a chicken farm. Till the skunks ate the chickens when my Uncle Saul had a skunk farm. But the skunks caught cold and died, so my Uncle Saul imitated the skunks in a subtle manner. Or by drowning himself in the water tank, but somebody who given my Uncle Saul a Victor Victrola and records while he lived presented to him upon his auspicious occasion of his decrease a scrumptious, not to mention splendiferous funeral with tall boys in black gloves and flowers and everything. And I remember we all cried like the Missouri when my Uncle Saul's coffin lurched because somebody pressed a button. And down went my Uncle Saul and started a worm farm. Also by E. E. Cummings. Pity this busy monster, unkind. Pity this busy monster, man unkind not. Progress is a comfortable disease. Your victim, death and life safely beyond, plays with the bigness of his littleness. Electrons deify one razor blade into a mountain range. Lenses extend unwish through curving where when till unwish returns itself. A world of made is not a world of born. Pity poor flesh and trees, poor stars and stones, but never this fine specimen of hyper-magical ultra-omnipotence. We doctors know a hopeless case if, listen, there's a hell of a good universe next door. Let's go. I just need to show you what his poems look like. Can I show you what his poems look like? So this is the one that I just read right here. Looking at the spacing and the lettering. I'm not even going to attempt to read this one out loud. But one of my favorite poems of his is called A Leaf Falls. Nothingness. All right. Turning ahead to Stanley Kunitz, Halley's Comet. Say that again. Miss Murphy in first grade wrote its name in chalk across the board and told us it was roaring down the storm tracks of the Milky Way at a frightful speed, and if it wandered off its course and smashed into the earth, there'd be no school tomorrow. A red-bearded preacher from the hills with a wild look in his eyes stood in the public square at the playground's edge, proclaiming he was sent by God to save every one of us, even the little children. "Repent, ye sinners," he shouted, waving his hand-lettered sign. At supper, I felt sad to think that it was probably the last meal that I'd share with my mother and my sisters. But I felt excited, too, and scarcely touched my plate. My mother scolded me and sent me early to my room. The whole family's asleep except for me. They never heard me steal into the stairwell hall and climb the ladder to the fresh night air. Look for me, Father, on the roof of the red brick building at the foot of the green street. That's where we live, on the top floor. And the boy in the white flannel gown sprawled on his coarse gravel bed, searching the starry sky, waiting for the world to end. By W.H. Auden, As I walked out one evening. As I walked out one evening walking down Bristol Street, the crowds upon the pavement were fields of harvest wheat. And down by the brimming river I heard a lover sing under an arch of the railway, "Love has no ending. I'll love you, dear, I'll love you till China and Africa meet, and the river jumps over the mountain and the salmon sings in the street. I'll love you till the oceans is folded and hung up to dry, and the 7 stars go squawking like geese about the sky. The years shall run like rabbits, for in my arms I hold the flower of the ages and the first love of the world." But all the clocks in the city began to whir and chime. Oh, let not time deceive you. You cannot conquer time. In the burrows of the nightmare where justice naked is, time watches from the shadow and coughs when you would kiss. In headaches and in worry, vaguely life leaks away, and time will have its fancy tomorrow or today. Into many a green valley drifts the appalling snow. Time breaks the threaded dances in the diver's brilliance bow. Oh, plunge your hands in water, plunge them in up to the waist. Stare, stare in the basin, and wonder what you've missed. The glacier knocks in the cupboard, the desert sighs in the bed, and the crack in the teacup opens, a lane to the land of the dead, where the beggars raffle the banknotes, and the giant is enchanting to Jack, and the lily-white boy is a roarer, and Jill goes down on her back. Oh, look in the mirror. Oh, look in your distress. Life remains a blessing, although you cannot bless. Oh, stand at the window as the tears scald and start. You shall love your crooked neighbor with your crooked heart. It was late in the evening. The lovers, they were gone. The clocks had ceased their chiming, and the deep river ran on. Okay. By Theodore Roethke, Dolor, which means sadness. I have known the inexorable sadness of pencils neat in their boxes, dolor of pad and paper weight, all of the misery of manila folders and mucilage, desolation in immaculate public places, lonely reception room, lavatory, switchboard, the unalterable pathos of basin and pitcher, ritual of multigraph, paperclip, comma, endless duplication of lives and objects. And I have seen dust from the walls of institutions, finding them flower, alive, more dangerous than silica, sift, almost invisible through long afternoons of tedium, dropping a fine film on nails and delicate eyebrows, glazing the pale hair, the duplicate gray standard faces. Also by Theodore Roethke, My Papa's Waltz. The whiskey on your breath could make a small boy dizzy, but I hung on like death. Such waltzing was not easy. We romped until the pan slid from the kitchen shelf. My mother's countenance could not unfrown itself. The hand that held my wrist was battered on one knuckle. At every step you missed, my right ear scraped a buckle. You beat time on my head with a palm caked hard by dirt, then waltzed me off to bed, still clinging to your shirt. Also by Theodore Roethke, Root Cellar. Nothing would sleep in that cellar, dank as a ditch. Bulbs broke out of boxes, hunting for chinks in the dirt. Shoots dangled and drooped, lolling obscenely from mildewed crates, hung down long yellow evil necks like tropical snakes. And what a congress of stinks! Roots ripe as old bait, pulpy stems, rank, silo-rich, leaf mold, manure, lime, piled against slippery planks. Nothing would give up life. Even the dirt kept breathing a small breath. And then, also by W.H. Auden, going back, The Unknown Citizen. To JS07M378, this marble monument is erected by the state. He was found by the Bureau of Statistics to be one against whom there was no official complaint, and all the reports on his conduct agree that, in the modern sense of an old-fashioned word, he was a saint. For in everything he did, he served the greater community, except for the war till the day he retired. He worked in a factory and never got fired, but satisfied his employers, Fudge Motors Incorporated. Yet he wasn't a scab or odd in his views, for his union reports that he paid his dues. Our report on his union shows it was sound, and our social psychology workers found that he was popular with his mates and liked to drink. The press are convinced that he bought a paper every day and that his reactions to the advertisements were normal in every way. Policies taken out in his name prove that he was fully insured, and his health card shows he was once in hospital but left it cured. Both producers' research and high-grade living declare he was fully sensible to the advantages of the installment plan and had everything necessary to the modern man. A phonograph, a radio, a car, and a Frigidaire, Our researchers into public opinion are content that he held the proper opinions for this time of year. When there was peace, he was for peace. When there was war, he went. He was married and added 5 children to the population, which our eugenists say was the right number for a parent of his generation. And our teachers report that he never interfered with their education. Was he free? Was he happy? The question is absurd. Had anything been wrong, we should certainly have heard. All right. I'm going to stop there and I will pick up with part 3.